I know when I tend to recommend the game to friends of mine who have dropped it years ago. And this tends to happen with multiple people. It's like, dude, you can now play 3 characters at the same time, and it's a breeze, and it's all lovely, and it's all not gated anymore. It's not like super restricted. You don't have to grind for anything. Just play the game and get rewards. What a novel concept, right?
What's interesting, because ever since Classic was released, people have kind of compared Classic to retail, and always, you have the Classic Andes that are like, oh my god, Classic is better, and you have the retail Andes that, oh my god, retail is better. And if you really think about it, part of the reason why Classic was appreciated was, the whole concept of the world being a character in of its own. You had a different progression system. You felt like you could invest more into your character. Your decisions mattered more. There are probably a lot of reasons why Classic was better. It was not better because of the combat. It was probably not better because of the class design, although that is debatable. Like a lot of the classes right now are just functionally way better designed. But what you could essentially say about Classic is that your character mattered more, so probably you felt attached to it more because you had to invest in it. You couldn't level alts as much.
That was the whole shtick back then, yeah.
Yeah, and it was this whole back and forth between Classic and retail for the longest time, but now retail actually went 180 from that. Just went the opposite spectrum. Okay, all of you could play your entire account. It's not that, oh, Dragonflight is a little bit alt-friendly, oh, Shadowlands lets you have some progress between, no. Everything, or like 99% of it is unlocked now. So I can definitely see myself as a WoW enjoyer. Dude, if I want to enjoy my character, I can play some Classic, I can progress, I can be the Resto Druid of my raid, going to kill the Lich King and then Deathwing and all of that. And then I can just have like a totally different, still WoW experience in retail. So I feel like that freshness, instead of just being slightly the different flavor of the same thing, I think that just does a lot in probably pulling people from one side to the other.
Obviously, there's a lot of factors why War Within is so popular and bringing in more and more players, probably more than it's ever had.
Sure.
It's a lot more factors, but I feel Warbands is the go-to because we didn't really talk about it that much. Like people just, they saw it as like, oh, this is pretty cool, move along. But when you start to think about it,
doesn't really register until you're actually playing your main, and then you come back, wait a minute, this is where I left off with my main.
You have to have that moment of clarity. It's like, right, I have 2-3 level 80s now, plus the fact that you get the bonus XP.
That's like, dude, how many times like, dude, the main concern about playing alts in WoW has always been, I don't want to do the exact same thing again.
Well, now you have the option to do whatever you want, and you get bonus XP, and this is because they filled up the world with so many things to do, story-wise, quest-wise, all of that. It's like, okay, you didn't have time to like cover all ground if you were interested in it, right?
Sure.
Now you can do that. You can cover everything.
It's not even that, because I can definitely see people saying, but I still do the same thing. I still do quests, I still do dungeons, and you don't want to do that. But it's not even that. Even if you end up, because I've done everything on my mage before I level my alt, and my alt kind of does what my mage did. But it's different. The XP boost is definitely one thing.
I didn't.
Because it's faster now. So even if, let's say, I would clear the entire game with one character and anything that my alt could do is just the same thing, even then it doesn't feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah, because it's much more accelerated, first of all.
The XP bonus, the fact that that you get 5% with the first one, 10% with the second one, definitely adds a different layer of progression that you're actually, well, not only am I leveling, I'm working on making things even faster and
but there's
even better.
Also a nice reward for you at the end, because you have all that Warbound gear you sent off waiting in your mailbag for level 80. So once you do ding that alt of yours, that third or fourth alt, you already have like, maybe if you're lucky, like with your main, you should have like at least 3 or 4 pieces max gear that would potentially, ideally set you up on your end game journey. That again has never happened before.
And you know what else? And this is your personal favorite, the comparison with Diablo and Path of Exile.
Oh my god,
we've trashed WoW for being a seasonal game for a long time, and this is not what Classic is, although Classic's kind of running in seasons right now. And we never really liked it, and it still has some issues. Your gear kind of gets invalidated in the next year and so on, so it definitely feels like a seasonal game in the sense that every new season, actual season, raid tier, or whatever you want to call it, you kind of start from zero. It might not be 0 because you've, in the prior tier, you've grinded the items and you have some eye level. But realistically, you can start any new season with like a 0 item level character and still be able to do all of its content in like a week. So it's not, that's the seasonal part. The problem is that this has kind of felt a little bit forced and didn't feel like it found its place up until the Warband section, because what we can actually do right now with our main character is something that we can do in actual seasonal RPGs like ARPGs, which are known for their seasonal content and the replayability, is actually use our main to gear our alt, and that is with the Warband gear. Because you think about it, and it's not just the gear.
the example.
It's not just the gear, it's also the crest discounts, it's also the currency discounts, it's also the fact everything except the actual crests and Valor Stones is, I think everything is transferable to your alts.
Yeah, you can they did mention that this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot more happening with the Warbands.